In a lot of ways, like the data would kind of say something different from what expectations were, what people were feeling. And the response to that, from people like Scott was essentially, you're not listening to people and what they're actually experiencing in their lives.
What data are you talking about? The inflation data that kept going up and up and up during her administration?
Well,
I mean, the reality is inflation was terrible, and what was coming out was Biden saying it's not terrible.
Inflation was bad,
Yeah.
for sure. But
that's Scott Jennings mocking CNN host and paid propagandist Abby Phillip for desperately trying to downplay recent data suggesting that the hysteria over President Trump's tariffs might be overblown. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and if you ever needed proof that Trump really does have the worst enemies, just look at who's sitting across from Scott Jennings, because Abby Phillip tried to run interference for her Democrat puppet masters after Axios let the truth slip out about the establishment media lies she's been spinning. Here's Jennings setting the record straight while Phillip tries to pretend that politically biased expert gaslighting under Biden is somehow the same as Axios telling the truth under Trump.
Well, I'm just going to read you this headline. Hard data suggests tariff-driven inflation and recession fears may be overblown. Now, this is not from a right-wing outlet. This is from Axios, noted outlet of data analysis and journalism. And they go through all kinds of things. Retail sales are up a little. Spending on services is up. Restaurants and bars spending up. Producer price index showed little sign of tariff-related price pressures that we've been warned about. And as you noted in the open, there's a number of things that we've seen where prices are actually coming down. So the analysis here was that the apocalyptic doom and gloom that has been predicted may not be coming true.
Yeah, well, let me read the rest of what that Axios piece said, because here's a quote from that Axios piece from an expert. It says, the brunt of higher import taxes looks likely to arrive this summer, even with de-escalation in the last several days, and even as the underlying trajectory for inflation looks the best it has in 4 years. This is one of those things where, obviously, we do need to see what happens over the next few months. But it kind of reminds me of how it felt for a lot of the last 4 years. The broader economic data of the last 4 years was that there was an expected recession that didn't happen, that in an effort to get inflation under control, they did not have to push the economy into recession and push job losses up. So all of those things happened at the same time that people were feeling like their lives were not getting better. And that's kind of how people feel right now.
No, it's always the same playbook. Media hacks get caught pushing fear, and instead of owning it, they double down. But the difference is obvious. Under Biden, the press didn't just miss the story, they actively helped bury it and told Americans their struggles were fake. Now that Trump's back and fixing the mess, Axios dares to tell the truth, and Phillip scrambles to cover it. The only positives she could say about Biden's economy came from avoiding hypothetical scenarios from paid, politically biased experts. Jennings is right, this isn't about concern for people, it's about protecting the regime. Here he is calling them out again, while more CNN shills pretend that they always cared about the cost of living.
How can this be good for a president who promised to come in and on day one make it better, right? People already can't afford it.
Well, I think we're selectively looking at the data, and we're going over what Walmart said today, but there's other data. I mean, I'll just read what our friends at Axios said today. None of the data showing the kinds of recessionary or inflationary conditions implied by business and consumer surveys. I mean, I think maybe some of this is being overblown, number one. Number two,
the data does come in on a lag, I will say that. Continue.
Well, I'm just reading you the journalism here, and I'm a pro-journalist kind of guy. and so I think maybe some of the concerns have been overblown. That's number one. Number two, we have seen some softening in the inflationary pressures. There have been some indications that some prices have been coming down in some things. Eggs, for instance, are now much lower.
Not strollers or car seats.
Okay. I mean, does the country run on strollers and
single
car seats?
American family who has a child needs a car seat.
I'm just saying. I think it's.
You're talking to a couple of moms with young kids.
And
you got four of them. You spent probably a fortune in your life on car seats. Okay.
I'm just telling you that I think when we're collectively trying to make a case against Trump, we selectively look at certain data, but then we ignore other data.
I'm not trying to make a case against Trump. I'm just saying things are about to get more expensive.
We're ignoring the massive amount of private investment that's coming into the country. We're ignoring the rebound in the stock market. We're ignoring the trade deals that have been cut and are currently being cut. So I'm not arguing that that Walmart shouldn't be listened to, but at the same time, there is some indication that maybe some of these fears have been overblown. I'll just say one more thing. when inflation was raging out of control under Biden, every Democrat rushed to every television camera to argue that it was corporate greed. So I'll be interested to see if Democrats are anxious to take up Walmart on this today. Is it still corporate greed, or is it going to be total Trump blame?
You know, it's absolutely hilarious to watch these dishonest political hacks suddenly pretend to care about things like groceries and car seats. I mean, Casey Hunt makes millions a year. Do you really think she cares about the price of things like car seats? They spent 4 years under Biden mocking anyone who mentioned inflation, told people to stop complaining and be grateful. But now that Trump's back and actually doing something about it, they're panicking. And Jennings nails it once again. They won't touch the positive impacts of Trump's tariffs or how his policies are pulling investment back into the US because they can. It would mean admitting Trump's putting America first, and that terrifies them. But let me know what you think. Are these CNN pundits actually concerned about Americans, or just mad Trump's economy is making them look like fools? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye.